Good morning, friends. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Medical Classes by Srinidhi Kumar Acharya. So don't forget to subscribe my channel and also please give your valuable comments. And as we are discussing in the last class, we are discussing about upanayana samskaras. Nowadays we are dealing with a series of samskaras, and in this series now we are discussing about upanayana samskara. First part of upanayana samskara we have covered in the last class. Now we come to the second part of upanayana samskara. Now in the last class we understood that upanayana samskara is nothing but something related to beginning of education. As far as the profession is concerned, for the different profession, the beginning of the education is different. Suppose for the purpose of academic purpose, then the profession education starts at the early part, like 8 years for the Brahmins, etc. And if you are going for some administrative skills or warfield skills, etc., then it is quite higher. The beginning of educational period is quite higher in the later period, like 11 years. For the Vaishyas, where the calculative skill is very important, analogy is very important, calculation, inference is very important, so then still it is 13 years of age. So like this, according to the different profession, the beginning of educational period is also, beginning point of education is also different. Anyway, the Upanayana Samskara is mainly deals with the beginning of education. Along with that, so many moral values have been also taught to the child, and is also made understood about the three types of runas or responsibilities that he has got, like Samaja Runa, Mata Pitra Runa, and as well as Daiva Runa. Anyway, so these points we have covered in the last class. Now, what actually happens is, in this class, we will deal with some of the benefits of Indian system of education compared to the presently existing system of education. Okay, because when I say Indian system of education means the previous ancient Indian system of medicine where the Gurukula system or the Ashrama system is existing. Now, after Upanayana, the child will be sent to the Gurukula, we know that, at a particular age as far as the caste and profession is concerned. Okay, for average age is 8 years. For the Brahmins, it is 8 years. 8 years is the right time to start the education, as the child is physically fit by this age and mentally mature so that he can understand the importance of learning. Nowadays we are making the baby learn so early, starting from 3rd year, 4th year, 5th year also, kindergartens, etc. Actually all these things are unwanted. Okay, so once the child is physically and mentally fit to receive the education, then only actually we have to start the education. And this up to 8 years or in the present situation you can say up to 6 years, it's the age where the child has to explore the world, and we cannot restrict the child inside a room, and we cannot give him a fixed pattern of lessons. He has got a lot of things to learn from the society, a lot of things to learn from the mother and the environment. Let him learn that, but unfortunately we are making him restricted into a room, and the same textbook pattern we are giving him, so that his natural creativity cannot be identified, and there is no scope for the development of natural creativity of the child. Only writing A, B, C, D and all those things, so we are bothered about that, but it is not the whole life. Okay, and that is a period actually where the actual creativity and the actual interest of the child will be identified, but we are missing that anyway. So up to 8 years he will be under the shelter of the parents. Okay, and he is receiving all the love, care, security, and then he is sent to the school by leaving back all the family members and relatives. So he will be mentally fit for such a separation by the age of 8 years. Now what Indian system of education says that by the age of 8 years, 8 years is the right time to send any baby child to the Gurukula, and that the age where physically and mentally child is fit, and he is now not having any separation anxiety and the sickness and all those things, would say parental sickness, etc., homesickness, etc. So now he is ready to leave the home, and it is a beginning period of the adolescence period also, pre-adolescence period also. So it's the right time that he will be exposed to society more than the and separated from the family members. So therefore he will be mentally fit for such separation by the age of 8 years. Now in Gurukula, for the first year he does not have any restrictions and allowed to do routine work of the ashram. So when he go for the Gurukula, for the first 1 year, and this is all the classics also says that, so he will be allowed to do the routine work of the ashrama, and he can attend any classes wherever he want to go. So during this period, the teacher observes him for his field of interest and level of creativity, and also dedication towards the work and patience which is present in him, etc. And at the end of 1 year, the teacher identifies the field of interest of that particular child so that he continues the education in the same field. Now, what are the benefits of Indian system of education is the general activities and other constructive exercises and interaction with the fellow students in the Gurukula will give him the overall knowledge of the essential facts of the life, while Guru continues to teach him in a specialized field. After once the Guru identifies the field of interest, he starts the education. So when he starts the education now, he teaches the child in a one particular field. Okay, the point to be noted, that means the profession of the child has been started very early. See, nowadays we start our profession after 20 years. We are not, after 18 or 19 years we come to the BMS field, isn't it? So before that we are not having any idea that we are going to BMS field. But in Gurukula system it's not like that. In the very early part of the life itself, when the child is very creative, energetic, that point itself they will start the professional study. The profession of the child has been decided earlier, and Guru keep on continuing teaching in that particular profession, whereas other general activities which is taking place in the Gurukula, and also the discussion with the fellow students give him the overall general knowledge of the life. So what I mean to say is, in other words, the real professional study starts at the earliest age possible in a specialized field, along with the gaining of other required knowledge. So in early childhood, child is very much active and interested, and also creative, obedient and faithful to the teachers, which helps the teacher to mold the child with all required knowledge of one specific field. So like this, by 16 to 18 years, so he will be a master of one field with all possible knowledge of a other field. So he is also having an overall superficial knowledge of all the other fields. But in the meantime, by the end of 16 to 18 years, 12 years of Gurukula teaching, so he will be master in one field. If he is selecting BMS as the Ayurveda as a course, by the end of 18 years, he knows all the shlokas and he knows all the pitfalls, updates of Ayurveda. And he is perfect Ayurvedic physician by the end of 18 years, and he is ready to serve the society. So professional course will be completed by the 18th year. In contrary, nowadays, the professional course start by 18th year. Okay, so that's the funny thing. So nowadays the professional course start by 18 years, but according to Gurukula system, the professional course complete by 18th year, and he will be available for the society for the service of or to render the duties. So now during this study period, so that's a very potent adolescence period. Okay, starting from 8 years onwards up to 18 years. So potent adolescence period that has been well utilized by the Indian system of education, so that the child is very, very talented, very creative, very curiosity, very aggressive also. All his aggression and his temperament has been used to focus on his professional study. Irrespective of nowadays, that particular temperament has been wasted in doing some of the antisocial activities. So during this study period, actually what happens is he's completely away from the home environment, and he can only concentrate on the study. So while Subhashita, while explaining the normal characters of a child or a student, it explains that Kakachesta, Bakadhyanam, Shwananidra, Tatogataha, Alpahara, Grihatyaga, away from the family members, Alpahara, Grihatyaga, Vidyarthi Panchalakshanam. So like this, a student should be very, very active and should wait for the opportunity, just like a kaka or crow do. A crow is very, very opportunistic, okay, and it is always active. It is always doing some activities. It never keeps silent itself. Bakadhyana subjected to the concentration. Once you have to concentrate on your studies and should be totally focused on that till you achieve the goal. Similarly, Shwananidra. So subconscious mind, see, just like a dog, in the subconscious mind it is always active. Okay, so similarly, a student should also subconsciously active about his goal. Tatogataha alpahara should take minimum ahara or satvika ahara. Then grihatyaga should be away from the family members, so that there is no bonding and all those things, and he can totally focus on the study. So this is explained as 5 lakshanas of a student according to Indian philosophy, Subhashita. Anyway, so that will be fulfilled in the Gurukula system of education. Now, In the late childhood, the teenage period is very, very sensitive period where a child is more prone to be a victim of bad habits, undue interest in the opposite sex, bad friends, sexual affairs, etc. So which can be totally misdirect and deviate the path and goal of the child. So this is what actually happening nowadays. So he spends highly potential period of energy in Gurukula where he will be directed to the directed in the right path. Guru will not give a scope at all to miss the track at all because he will be totally focused on that. So all his energy, creativity, interest will be focused positively to mastermind in one subject so that at the very earliest age, when he completes his adolescence, he will be the master of one field, which is quite unbelievable. And nowadays, unfortunately, the profession will be decided once our adolescence is completed after 18th year. Okay, then we'll start learning so many things. So our potential period has been completed. Okay, where the memory is good, temperament is good, creativity is good, curiosity is there, that period has been already passed away. And in the very dull period, we are now going to do the going to learn the professional studies nowadays. So likewise, a Brahmin becomes master of religious subjects and academics for preaching the people to stay back in dharma, rightful activities. Similarly, a Kshatriya, so he will be well versed in all the war skills and administration skills, and Vaishya in the business skills, agriculture, industry, Gopalana, etc. So he will be he'll be master of that particular field by the end of 18 years. Now, what is important is in Gurukula system teaching, it provides such an education that even a scholar when a scholar come out of Gurukula, he is endowed with all required skills and knowledge, and he is able to earn money, serve the society, and also become independent of the parents. Okay, nowadays we complete our degree, even after 30 years also we are depending on our parents. But in Gurukula system it is not. But the Gurukula system prepare a kid in like a way that by the end of 18 years he will be ready to serve the society, he is ready to earn the money, he is also ready to take care of his parents. Now he is confident to render the service and determined to follow the path of dharma because the creative period has been not misdirected. Meanwhile, by this time the scholar is at its marital age. See, after adolescence, he is now in the marital age. We say that 21 years for female and 25 years for male. That is a marital age. Okay, so after completion of his study, he will be ready for the marital age, ready with the marital age, and he is ready for the marriage or vivaha samskara, and vivaha samskara will be done. Vivaha samskara will be done because sexually he is mature now. So he earns the money, he enjoys the happiness of the marital life, and he also gives his contribution to the society. This is possible when you complete your professional study at the early period. When you complete your professional study at the age of 40 or 35 years, then you have to also complete your family, you have to also earn money, you have to also get settled, and it's quite impossible, which is happening nowadays. Now, so teaching in Indian system is a job oriented, age oriented, society oriented, and personal happiness oriented. So thus Gurukula system provide such an education which is more required to have prosperous life, good nation, and also peaceful, bright future. Now let us have a focus on the disadvantages of present educational system. I cannot say that present educational system is bad. It is having its own credit, but what are some of the disadvantages and how it created a disbalance in the society by creating unemployment and all those things. So, and how it is responsible for production of more unskilled employers. So that we will going to see now. See, we know that mother is regarded as the first and the best teacher of the child. Okay, so first 5 years baby has to spend with mother and family members. So mother teaches many new things daily to the child, which is specific to the home environment and also the morality with the child inculcated in the day-to-day activities. So love, affection, sympathy, care, security ensured by the mother to a little kid cannot be replaced by any other source. Suppose in the first 5 years you are sending the baby to the kindergartens or LKG, UKG, etc. Whatever care that they are giving there, so it is not a replacement for the mother's love. Mother's love is a different thing. Okay, now hence child should be spent within the mother during the first 5 years of the life. But what actually happens is, once in India, when mother is also started doing the job and she is also going to office, then this alternative system of this LKG, UKG or kindergarten started. Otherwise, previously there is no system of this LKG and LKG. Now where to leave back this kid? So then a system has been started, pre-nursery system, where before the first admission to the first year of education itself, so they have started giving the education in the form of kindergartens. Actually, this is done only to uh, give comfort to the working mothers. So working mothers, they are not able to spend their time with their kids, and therefore they found an alternative method, and as a result now this is started. Now this has become essential of the child rearing. It has happened like this, unfortunately. Otherwise child has to spend maximum 5 years with the mother only. Lalayat panchavarshani, mother should receive all the love from the mother. Okay, so in the home environment child learns a lot of lessons which helps to child in future. In the school, if it is going, they are same the rhymes they are telling, some of the poems they are telling, stories are telling. Okay, it is also a creative activity or skillful activity, or okay, making the baby busy, it cannot replace the home environment and as well as mother's love. Child is not mentally and physically fit to receive any knowledge of literature by this time, so it's totally waste. Whatever you are telling, the poem rising, poem and rhymes and all those things, actually it is of totally waste. You are only keeping the baby busy, that's all. Okay, because child is not even ready to receive all these things in the, it don't know the meaning of that poem. Okay, so it is not able to appreciate the meaning and the aim of that poem or whatever it is reciting. Okay, so okay, we are making the baby very busy, and baby is also telling the stories. We are also, mother is also happy, parents are also happy, but otherwise, of course, it does not have any benefits out of it in the long term process. So how many of we know what are the poems that we have learnt in the UKG, or and nobody remember, I think. So allow the baby to learn by observation. That's the rule. So during the first 5 years, allow the baby to learn by observation. So best source for observation is mother, okay, and family members, and also the external world. So system of teaching is again not with respect to the future goal of the child. In the present day situation of education, the system of teaching is not by keeping the future goal of the person. Child learns the basic things till intermediate, 12th standard. Till the 12th standard, nobody knows what will going to happen in future, isn't it? In the present day scenario. And afterwards, he select a professional field of 3 year or 5 years or 2 years, whatever. So 12th standard means almost 18th year, 18th years of life. Is child is not knowing what we have to study. That's the beauty. See, Indian system of medicine, by the end of 18th year, he will be master of one subject, one particular subject or one particular profession. So then after 18 year in the present day, he will spend 2 to 3 more years to obtain the postgraduate degree. See, once the undergraduate is okay over, then we spend more 3 years in the post graduation. Some people also do the PhD also. So likewise, he will be available for the service of the society by the age of 26 to 27 years. That also if the study is not interrupted in between. So moreover, 15 to 18 years that we have spent in the school, starting from first standard to 12th standard, has got very less significance in the professional study which gives the bread and butter to him. For example, trigonometry we have studied. And what is the role of this trigonometry in Ayurveda? No role at all. We have a lot of history we have studied. Okay, so a lot of literature details. Literature, of course, is very important, and so many other points we have studied, which is of no use in the Ayurveda study. Instead of that, if we would have been focused only on Ayurveda, starting from the beginning itself, by this time we would be the master of Ayurveda. This is the same for all the fields. For example, person who is going to the legal field or lawyer, what is the role of mathematics? Only in counting the money, that's all. Okay, otherwise there is no role. Even there is no role of science also. The detailed knowledge of science is not required. So these are the things. The present education study is not exactly the future of the child oriented. It is not oriented with the future of the child. So students who become a lawyer in their profession do not have a role of or less role of knowledge of mathematics, science, etc. in his professional career. Okay, so an Ayurveda student is very less utility of pre-professional study in his profession, because the the bad thing with the Ayurveda is in the pre-professional study we never talk about Ayurveda, and the child who is the person who is coming to student who is coming to Ayurveda, he don't know about Ayurveda. Only coming to Ayurveda in the first year he come to know that. Okay, so hence he waste the precious time and energy in unnecessary reading. Okay, instead once if the profession decided earlier, he can totally focus on the subject in his profession as explained in Ayurveda Gurukula system. Now, so system of a play school, nursery, LKG, UKG don't have any scientific basis, although it is convenient for the working mother and is also need of the hour. I cannot reject that, or we cannot reject that. It's a need of the hour. Okay, everybody is working, so where to leave the babies? Okay. So trend of kindergarten schools, where the child has been sent to school as early as 2 to 3 years, started only few decades back. So as percentage of working mother is becoming more and more, and the joint families are slowly disappearing from the community, from the mainstream, as an alternative to it, for the convenience purpose, these schools were flourished. Okay, so development of writing skill, fine motor movement, speech will be completed only by 4 to 5 years. Okay, if you go to the developmental milestones. So before that, teaching anything to the child is totally waste. It's only method of making the child busy, that's all. So unnecessary workload to the kid increases the stress and kills his natural creativity, and the child may be fed up the study early. If you put the baby on LKG only, by the time he reaches the 12th standard, he will be fed up of study. Okay, so as told in Ayurveda, Akshara Lekana Samskara should be done in the 5th year of the life. Okay, right time to start the education is 5th year of the life. Okay, so any skill you want to practice about writing and all this, that should be also done only after 5th year of the life, and which is right time to initiate the skill of writing. Now, system of teaching is again not with respect to the future goal of the child. Okay, so present system, so this we have already seen. Now, one more important thing is family life. Family life is totally neglected in the present educational system. Okay, so many times the students complete their professional study by 30 to 35 years, then attaining the Purushartha, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha is doubtful. Okay, so Vivaha Samskara should be done in the right time, as told in Ayurveda. By 25 years he has to get married and he has to start his marital life. But by 25 years, no, professional study itself is not completed. So how to marry? Okay, where will the money? From where we have to get the money? Many questions are there. Totally there is imbalance in our total life, culture, and also our educational system. So chance of interruption in the study, victim of becoming bad habits, sexual crimes are quite common nowadays, because we are not professional oriented during the adolescence period. So this period is very vulnerable period for all these bad activities. So teenage student wastes maximum time behind the sex, love, groupism, social medias, antisocial activities, which is the actual time of potentiality. We are wasting it. In the present educational system, we know that what is happening in the colleges, what is happening in the school. Okay, nowadays it's very shocking to see even the high school students are also involved in drug addiction and this hookah bar and all those things. It's very, very heartening to listen such news. So what is the problem? Where we are doing the mistake? The mistake is the present. We have neglected the ancient Indian system of education. Okay, so ancient Indian system of education, Gurukula system of education, with a scientific method of approaching. So they never let the very potent adolescent spirit to be get wasted, and they uses it for the masterization of the subject. But nowadays we are simply wasting, because our profession itself is not decided during that time what to do. So in total, the system of education is not fit for Indian standard and Indian mentality. So because in India we have got system of family life, emotional attachment with the family members, certain fixed duties are there, certain fixed responsibilities are there, caste and familial customs are there, which are completely different from the Western standards. And this present educational system is the gift of the Western standard. Okay, so we are restricted by the code of conduct, and also we are compelled to follow a particular lifestyle, and the same tendency is not seen in the Western culture. Of course, I am not telling that it's wrong. For them it is very good. It's their culture. For Indian standard, Indian scenario, Indian situation, for the Indian soil and Indian tendency, Indian emotions, Indian system of education is good. Hence, there is a real need to inculcate the principle of Gurukula system of education in the present educational study to bring the revolutionary change. So this is how we have analyzed the present educational system and as well as the Indian educational system, and how it is helpful to decide the profession at the earliest, and also it helps to maintain the balance in the society, balance in the life, and balance in the culture. So with this we completed the portion of Upanayana Samskara. In another class we will come with another important Samskara, that is Akshara Lekana Samskara. And thank you very much for watching me. Please don't forget to subscribe my channel and also give your valuable comments. Thank you very much.